So the Ticats had their first practice in the week leading up to the East semifinal on Monday. I'm here with the Spec Steve Milton. And Steve, lots of talk about momentum on this first day.
Well, and I'm not sure how much there is moving from regular season, especially when each team had kind of a lame duck game afterwards. But if there is, then they both kind of have it. They both won their last season's game. Now, if you're speaking about against Montreal, winning 2 of the last 3, of course, and that's 3 times, and this will be 3 times in 4 games that they play them. That'll have some role. I think it almost is the other thing. It's really hard to defeat a team 3 times in a year, and the history of that, other than teams that are really widely separated in the standings, isn't great.
There's been some injury talk as well in Montreal. We're still waiting to hear about the status of Kyrese Hebert and Jeff Tisdale, their corner who led the league in interceptions. For Hamilton, the big question seems to surround Greg Ellingson and whether or not he can be healthy enough to play on Sunday.
Well, and to me, that's not as big a concern as it is in Montreal. And, of course, it highlights what everybody talked about leading into last week's lame duck weekend. Who do you start and what are the risks? Montreal, Toronto, Hamilton. They all kind of took really different approaches to it. Hamilton was kind of a hybrid between Toronto and Montreal. But yes, having Ellingson would be a very important thing to them because he has really established himself as a possession receiver, especially in the mind of the player that matters the most, and that's number 1 for the Tiger Cats. He was a real go-to guy at second and crucial downs, and it'd be very nice to have him. But as you pointed out earlier today, how do you weigh that off against 7 weeks of inactivity? You know, that sort of reliability. Is it still there?
Henry Burris played well, I thought, in the 37-7 win over Winnipeg on Saturday. He has not, however, played all that well in the 3 games against Montreal. As Henry goes, so go the Ticats, generally speaking.
Well, and of course, the way the Montreal plays defense, the way I see it, Drew, is with that 1+, meaning basically bring in one more guy. You see they're blocking 8, then you bring 9. You see they're blocking 5, you bring 6, and sometimes 7. Very difficult, have to get the ball away quickly. It's why their defenders often get called for holding, because they know if they can hang on to the receivers for a very short period of time, they can disrupt. Not only they get rid of the waggle at the line, but also on the cut. And it also, as Henry was explaining to us earlier today, that can disrupt a quarterback's rhythm, and that really and his sense of judgment on the receiver. And I think we've seen that so far. An awful lot of really heavy pressure at key downs. They've got to do something to break that up. And my guess is, given the way they game plan for the second game using Mazzoli and people like, and there were some other things they did as well. I'm expecting something else to counter that. You've got to make Montreal pay for that kind of rush, and the way you make them pay is always with a big play. And it's down to Henry on this one. He's got to figure that out, but I think it's really more about the scheming than the play of Henry himself.
Make sure you check out Tuesday's Spectator for a full report, as well as the Scratching Post blog for all the up-to-the-minute Ticat news. Reporting from 1 Jarvis Street in Hamilton with Steve Milton, I'm Drew Edwards.